Welcome back to another video. Today I'm explaining Toto, one of the famous characters of the JJK franchise. Boogie Woogie technique. Of course, Boogie Woogie technique allows him to switch places with mostly any and every cursed user and cursed objects. I'm unsure if he can absolutely switch between like him and like Maki, just because Maki doesn't have any cursed energy, or someone like a Toji, because they don't have cursed energy. All the cursed tools and cursed people that he switched with all have cursed energy. Now, he can switch places no matter the distance. Well, pertaining if he can sense this around him. Of course, there is no pattern to use Boogie Woogie. All Toto needs to do is clap his hands and can immediately switch places. That is the source of activation. But he can also fake a clap if he doesn't put any cursed energy in the clap. That means his curse technique is not active, and can also fake out the enemy. Of course, Hanami was confused by it, but it also allowed them to get multiple hits in on Hanami until Gojo or a farm hits way out of a low barrier. Of course, one of the main disadvantages of Boogie Woogie is that it requires both hands to activate and clap in the clapping of both hands. Of course, as we see, if Toto loses his arm like he does to Mahito, he will be unable to activate this curse technique, leaving him vulnerable. But he still did try to clap his hands. Mahito tries to inadvertently anticipate where they'll switch to next, but he says his technique is dead until much later on in the manga. And that's manga spoilers for the Sukuna fight. Now, if you've seen the manga spoilers, you could drop it in the comment section. I'm not going to talk about it. In terms of that, and while Boogie Woogie is an unpredictable attack, powerful opponents are able to see through this attack if it is overused. Just because you are used to the switching, they're able to counter this, but attack as soon as Toto claps. So swapping places does not give Toto the advantage. Of course, Sukuna is able to counter Boogie Woogie quite effectively. Again, manga spoilers, but yeah. Some powerful opponents are able to time and anticipate when Toto is going to clap by just experiencing it a few times. Hanami does try it, and Mahito does try it. Boogie Woogie is also not a direct hit curse technique. Unfortunately, we never see Toto to his fullest potential. We know he is a grade 1 sorcerer, but he is unable to access that special grade sorcerer limit where he could have access to his domain expansion and or reverse curse technique, just to see him being a more effective and more powerful sorcerer. Of course, he's one of the favorite side characters, so maybe he will gain a domain expansion in a non-canon movie much later on in the years, since Jujutsu Kaisen, the anime, won't end until about 2030 or 2031. That's just how the anime lineups are lining up, because I think Shibuya, the incident arc, doesn't drop until later this year or early next year. But anyway, Jujutsu Kaisen shouldn't end until 2030. We're already in 2025, and we're late 2025, so Boogie Woogie is also ineffective against opponents who don't need to move to execute an attack. This means opponents who have a powerful range of attacks. So even if you switch, if you are able to just nuke the area like a Gojo Sukuna, that means Boogie Woogie would be ineffective unless you are able to switch it on the way out. Now, it doesn't mean he can switch with like a random rock or a random tree. It needs to have cursed energy behind it. So I really do want to know the answer to the question: could he switch with someone like a Maki or someone who doesn't have a cursed energy? I don't think we've ever seen him switch with Maki. Of course, the Maki before the convergence had a little bit of cursed energy within her, so I think he would still be able to switch with that version of Maki. But the new version of Maki, the one to compare to Toto, I have no idea. Other than that, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.